So during this COVID-19 national emergency and our state stay home, stay safe orders, despite the fact that some of them are being lifted in different states and stages, and during all of this, they've had ridiculous things happen. Like they've closed gun stores. They've closed gun ranges. They've closed down the government buildings where you can get your concealed carry permit. And we've talked about how doing things like this prevent those who are not prepared from getting the means to protect themselves. Because in the same sense, some of these municipalities have said our law enforcement is stretched so thin because so many people are getting sick and can't come to work, or so many things are going on that we can't be there to protect you. Okay, the cops can't be there to protect you, but you can't go get a gun and ammunition to protect yourself, go to the range to train and practice, or go to the government building to get the necessary permits if your state is extremely restrictive. Now, my opinion is you should have been prepared, but be that as it may, there's always those people who aren't, right? So, in the same sense, they've done stuff like said you've got to wear a face covering everywhere you go. Now, we've got riots going on because of police brutality, and that's a whole nother video in itself. But here's the thing. If you're wearing a face covering and you're caught on camera, how are they going to identify you to prosecute you? They can't. If the cops are already stretched thin because they're answering all these calls for when your neighbor wants to narc you out for playing in the park with your kid, and the cops have to respond, 13 cops have to show up because a soccer mom is there with her kid, how are they going to be able to respond to riots? Or better yet, maybe they don't want to respond because they're afraid to get COVID. You know, I saw the footage of this guy having this cop lean on his neck. The cop wasn't wearing gloves. He wasn't wearing a mask. He definitely wasn't exercising social distancing. But that brings another point. Let's say you are running away from the cops during one of these riots, and they finally do catch you and arrest you, and they prosecute you. All you have to do is say, Your Honor, I was exercising social distancing. So between having to wear a mask, which hides your identity, or trying to keep your distance for social distancing, or the fact that the police can't be there because half of them are out sick, or they're busy dealing with other stuff, and the fact that you can't protect yourself because you don't have access to firearms and things related to firearms, what does this say about our country? What does this say about the situation right now? There's a whole lot of irony here. There just is. I'm trying not to laugh, but that's what it comes down to. And you know what the sad thing is? The sad thing is having riots in cities all across our country over all of this perceived injustice, whether it is or isn't, that'll be played out later. It's actually kind of refreshing because it's a break in the news from the daily COVID-19 bullshit, isn't it? That's sad. That's pathetic. So a lot of irony and just a lot of, it's the same old. We're not resolving anything by this ridiculous behavior. We're not resolving anything by our government standing behind these idiotic orders. We're not doing anything to protect our citizens when law enforcement can't even respond to a riot. But make sure you wear your mask and exercise social distancing and try to figure out some way to protect yourself without a gun because, COVID-19.